Chael Sonnen is the man of the hour and everyone's favorite bad guy. Chael Sonnen's life and career is quite complex because of the things he's done in and out of MMA. He exceeded our expectations inside the octagon and single-handedly redefined the trash-talking game. Chael is now known for many things, but it's pretty hard to tell where his awesome career started. Well, stay right where you are because this video will give an in-depth view of Chael Sonnen's life and career up until now. Also, make sure you stick to the end where we reveal his massive salary and net worth, which will definitely blow your minds. Without wasting more time, let's begin. Chael Sonnen was born in West Linn, Oregon, United States on the 3rd of April 1977. He attended West Linn High School and started wrestling at the age of 9. As expected, he was very good in his school's wrestling program. He was a state runner-up, and in 1996, Sonnen began training in boxing with the hopes of competing in the UFC after graduating from college. After high school, Sonnen attended Brigham Young University before transferring to the University of Oregon in Eugene, when BYU began considering cutting their wrestling program. And just as you would expect, he performed excellently well in his new university. At Oregon, Sonnen earned All-American honors, was a two-time Pac-10 runner-up, and was a silver medalist at the 2000 Greco-Roman World University Championships, and was a two-time Dave Schultz Memorial International Greco-Roman winner. If you've heard Chael talk, you can tell he's a pretty smart guy. So while he was going all in on wrestling, he didn't leave his education lacking behind. In 2001, he graduated from the University of Oregon with a Bachelor of Science degree in sociology. But you see, here's where things got a little bit complex for Sonnen. Fresh out of college, Sonnen wanted to pursue a wrestling career because it was his lifelong dream to be a wrestler. However, in 1997, when Chael was just 19 years old, he stumbled on an opportunity to fight mixed martial arts and he took it. His first MMA fight was against Ben Haley in Vancouver, Washington. Sonnen did exceptionally well and successfully defeated Haley via unanimous decision. It was an impressive performance, but Chael still wanted to become a professional wrestler. So in 1998, he attended a tryout for World Championship Wrestling at the WCW Power Plant in the summer, but that didn't really work out for him. It was at this point that he entered the world of mixed martial arts full-time. Chael was exceeding everyone's expectations when he got in. He was undefeated for his first 6 fights before losing to Trevor Prangley in late 2003 by an armbar submission. He held a professional record of 15-6-1 when he signed his first contract with the UFC. His first fight was not so impressive, to be honest. His first fight was a light heavyweight bout against former IFC light heavyweight champion Renato Sobral at UFC 55. Sobral had no difficulty in submitting Chael in the second round of the fight. But for his second fight in the UFC, he was slated to fight Trevor Prangley again. Chael was determined to avenge his loss to Trevor, and he did just that. He defeated Trevor via unanimous decision. But once again, Chael was short in his third fight under the UFC after he lost to Jeremy Horn. At this point, the UFC decided to let Chael Sonnen go. His contract was terminated and he left the promotion. It was one of the hardest moments for Chael in his MMA career. After he left the UFC, he signed with Bodog Fight and later went to World Extreme Cage Fighting. During this period, he won 7 fights out of his 8 fights, losing to Paulo Filho in 2007 for the WEC Lightweight Championship. But Chael won the rematch in 2008. This would have been Chael Sonnen's chance to win his first belt as a fighter, but Filho missed weight during the weigh-ins, so the fight was changed to a non-title bout. After his impressive run under Bodog Fight and the WEC, he re-signed with the UFC in 2009. His return fight was against Jiu-Jitsu ace and MMA legend Damian Maia at UFC 95. Sonnen tried to use his wrestling advantage in that fight, but Maia ended up submitting him in the first round using a triangle choke. Chael had lost yet another fight under the UFC, but his fortune changed after he won his next 3 fights and had another chance to be a champion. It was at this point that Chael Sonnen established himself in the UFC as everyone's favorite bad guy. Chael Sonnen was slated to face the greatest middleweight champ in the history of the UFC, Anderson Silva, at UFC 148. Sonnen had trash-talked Silva so hard to hype the fight, stating that he was going to retire Silva. It was at this point that he redefined the trash-talking game in the UFC. On the 7th of August 2010, at UFC 117, Sonnen went head-to-head with Silva for the first time. Sonnen put on a dominant performance, stunning Silva early with his boxing and then dominating the fight with his wrestling, for the first to 5th round. Sonnen was ahead on the judges' scorecards, but at the 3-minute 10-second time mark of the final round, Silva caught Sonnen in a triangle armbar and made him tap out. Everyone was shocked at how fast things turned against Sonnen, while the fans went wild in the arena. This fight is still seen as one of the greatest comebacks of all time and an instant classic. Dominating Anderson Silva in his prime for those 4 rounds was a monumental moment in Chael's career that cemented his status as a legend in this sport despite his loss. But what followed for Chael wasn't so pleasant. Chael's urine samples were taken immediately after the fight and he tested positive for using steroids. He was then suspended by the California State Athletic Commission and fined the sum of $2,500. After numerous appeals, Chael's suspension was lifted and he had his next fight against another fighter in his prime, Brian Stann, at UFC 136 after almost a year away from competition. Here's the drill. Chael Sonnen's win against Brian Stann is probably his most impressive performance in the UFC. Chael dusted a dominant Brian Stann who was coming off an impressive 3-fight win streak. He also did it in style, putting on an entertaining grappling performance and securing the win via arm triangle choke in the 2nd round. Next, he faced yet another predator, Michael Bisping. The spectacle of this fight was Chael admitting after the fight to Ariel Helwani how hard Michael Bisping had hit him all through the 3-round bout. It was massive, but Chael Sonnen claimed the victory via unanimous decision. And finally, the moment came. It was time for Chael to face Anderson Silva for the 2nd time, and for the UFC's middleweight championship. The promotional work for this fight was groundbreaking, all thanks to Chael Sonnen. It became one of the most anticipated bouts ever in the UFC and sold a massive 925,000 pay-per-views. On top of that, Chael ended up getting bumped in the jaw by Anderson's shoulder during the ceremonial weigh-ins. This was the icing on the cake to show that the trash talk had gotten to Anderson Silva. On the 7th of July 2012, at the main event of UFC 148, the much-anticipated bout took place. Chael dominated the 1st round completely, but in the 2nd round, Anderson landed huge kicks and punches to the body of Chael till Chael got knocked out. This fight ended the rivalry between Chael and Silva, and the next milestone for Chael came when it was announced that he would be a coach on the Ultimate Fighter 17 against former light heavyweight champion Jon Jones. A bout between Sonnen and Jones for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship took place on April 27, 2013 at UFC 159. Sonnen tried his best to hype up the fight, but Jones didn't see Sonnen as a worthy opponent, so he downplayed any hype or trash talk thrown at him by Chael Sonnen. During the fight, Jones dispatched Chael Sonnen using his style of dominant top control and ground and pound to defeat him via TKO in the 1st round. It was a very humbling fight for Chael Sonnen. After defeating Mauricio Rua and losing to Rashad Evans, Chael Sonnen's career took a downslide due to multiple failed drug tests. His contract as a UFC analyst was terminated, and he was banned from competition by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. After 4 years away from the sport, Chael Sonnen signed a contract with Bellator MMA on the 15th of September 2016. He had only 5 fights under Bellator, facing big names like former UFC light heavyweight champion and UFC Hall of Famer Tito Ortiz, Fedor Emelianenko, Quinton Jackson, Wanderlei Silva, and his final fight against Lyoto Machida. He successfully defeated Silva and Jackson, ending his Bellator career with a 2-3 record. Chael is known for his trash talks, and that including one time when he proposed to buy the WWE valued at over $700 million. Can you believe that? And according to Chael's representatives, he wasn't joking. So how much does Chael really have? Before we go there, if you're a new subscriber to our channel, comment I subbed in the comment section down below and instantly get qualified for our monthly new subscribers shoutout. If you want a free shoutout in one of our next videos, then go comment I subbed right now. Chael Sonnen earned a total of $2 million throughout his MMA career, with his largest paycheck coming from his fight with Fedor Emelianenko. He earned $300,000 despite his loss. His net worth is estimated to be $10 million, so maybe he's a long shot from actually fulfilling his promise of buying the WWE. Chael Sonnen got married to his beautiful wife, Brittany Sonnen, in July 2013. In 2015, they had their first child, Theo Steven Sonnen, and a year later, their daughter, Blaeuna Diane, passed away due to a bacterial infection called Listeria that Chael's wife and Blaeuna had contracted. Chael has also been involved in a couple of controversies and legal troubles. On January 3, 2011, he pleaded guilty to money laundering in connection with mortgage fraud. In 2012, Sonnen started Mean Streets Pizza with business partner Lee Gamble in West Lynn, Oregon. In February 2013, Sonnen sued his business partner for embezzlement and unpaid rent. Gamble filed a counter lawsuit seeking $400,000 in damages for Sonnen for defamation, wage reimbursement, and his ownership interest in the business. The case was settled out of court and did not go to trial. And most recently, in 2021, Sonnen was charged with 5 counts of misdemeanor battery after an alleged altercation at a Luxor hotel and casino hotel in Las Vegas. Regardless of his many controversies, Chael Sonnen is still seen as one of the greatest fighters in the history of MMA who never got to win a title. Make sure you check out this other video showing on your screen, and bye for now.